Hi there. My name's David Huff, and I welcome you to Startling Confessions of a Recovered Addict. In this podcast, we will meet people, men and women in recovery, sharing their stories of hope and transformation. So I thank you for joining us. Welcome to another episode of Startling Confessions from a Recovered Addict. And in our first segment today, we have my friend Clint, who is going to share his story with us. And Clint, tell us your startling confession.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do this. Hopefully that we may be able to help somebody that can hear this story. The startling confession was I had I had been drinking very heavily for quite some time, and I was actually hospitalized. I got hospitalized. My wife called 911 early one morning, and I was in that hospital for quite some time, and 5 days in the hospital, and constantly being reminded by all the doctors that I had to do something about my consumption, about that I wasn't to live long if I didn't make some kind of change in my consumption. And I listened to them for 5 days. And the day I was released, it was a short drive from the hospital to my home. The very first thing I did when I set my bag on the floor was pour myself a drink. Now,
Yeah.
I don't like to admit that, but I don't know the reason behind that. There was no thinking about that. It was a habit that I did not know how to not do. I can jokingly say I believe that I thought I needed to have a drink to figure out how I was going to stop drinking. And that was there was some attempt, some sincere attempts at trying to stop drinking during that next period of time. I was constantly saying that I wasn't going to do that anymore. I wake up in the morning and promise myself and my family members that I wasn't going to do that anymore. By the end of the day, I was drinking again. I had absolutely no control over that, and I came to a place that I had made some commitments. I had made commitments to some people to volunteer to do some work, fundraising work, and I couldn't live up to that commitment. I couldn't make that commitment. And again, that morning, when I realized what I had done, I was not going to drink again, but I was drinking. By the end of the day, I was consuming again, and somewhere in this, something happened that I didn't ask for. I had no idea where that thought came from at the time. I mean, I don't think it came from, it was a cry for help that came from within me, that I was at the, it was early evening, or 6, 7 o'clock kind of thing. And I had drank heavily all day long, and my wife had found me in the condition that I was, and I knew how hurt and how disappointed and how heartbroken she was to find me in that condition again. And somewhere from deep something came out of me that said, God, please help me. I need help. And it was, like I said, I don't know where that thought came from. Like it had to come from somewhere, it wasn't coming from my intellectual mind that was something I needed to do. I was unable to do that. But in that, in that moment though, I felt some kind of relief.
Mm.
And the next morning, I started making phone calls to try to get me some help, to try to find a place to go, uh, to get help. And and that was the confession of the way it all began.
Mm.
What I found was that there were plenty of people that wanted to help people
Mm-hmm.
like me, who had basically shared their experience with exactly how it worked for them. And since that time, that day was uh, March 19th of 2006, and I haven't had to have a drink since that time.
Oh my gosh. That is a great story. So, uh, how old were you when that moment came, that pivotal moment?
I was 55 years old at that time. Uh, I had many times for many years had tried to not drink and to not be that person that was running around crazy and doing crazy things, and I was unable to do that. But it finally, at the age of 55, like I said, that it was a cry for help that came from me from I don't know where, but
Mm.
at that moment something happened to me that I can't explain, but it was uh, it was the moment that I think that I just really conceded, that I gave in and decided that this was no longer the way I wanted to live, and I'm willing to do anything to try to stop.
Gosh, that is an amazing, startling confession, an amazing story. And I am so happy that you shared that so openly. Um, what would you like our listeners to take away from Clint's experience?
Oh, well, hopefully, like I said, hopefully that someone can hear that there can be, you're never too old.
Mm.
There's always hope. That however, uh, however hopeless you think the situation may be, that's all a perception. That I think I'm living proof that your perception can change. The difference can be made
Hmm.
in
So
your
we're
life.
never too old, we're never too bad. There's always hope, right?
That is correct.
And what gives you hope today? What keeps you on the beam, keeps you in this transformation mode?
Well, I have. It's some learned disciplines that it was a learned way of it's been a learned way of living that uh, is quite simple actually, but I have to take some time to for myself. I daily have to put in an effort to pay attention to what my thinking is like, and how I'm acting, and how I am presenting myself to other people. Uh, I, I, I believe this, my saving grace has been to not think so much about what I can get out of the world as to how much I can give back to the world.
Mm.
I've spent a lot of time trying to get everything I could for myself. And I think it's time, as time wore on, I see that there's a much bigger benefit of giving uh, rather than receiving. So
Mhm.
part of that process is to constantly remind myself that I need to be trying to be helpful, trying to be a good citizen in the community. I spend time in the morning with in some silent time, and I say a few set prayers, asking for the right thinking and the right way to act and the right way to live, and constantly, if I get a little worked up in traffic, I say thank you for giving me an opportunity to see that there's work for me to do to try to be better.
Mm. That is, we hear that a few times in this podcast, this mindful attitude about my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, the willingness to set some kind of intention for the day based along principles, uh, and uh, and also quiet time. And we hear that quite often too. So that's fantastic. And you're living proof that this works. And I want to thank you for taking the time to join us today on Startling Confessions of a Recovered Addict. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Well, again, thank you so much for the invitation to be on your podcast and the opportunity to be able to share. So thank you so much. Been my honor.
Thank you, Clint. Well, thanks for coming back or staying around for the second part of the podcast. And this is where we talk about the actions we can take that continue to move us in a direction of greater awakening, transformation, a better life. And today, Clint told us that his actions that he takes to ensure his continued good life are he talked about reflection, self-examination, maybe in daily living, about being mindful during the course of the day, about setting some intentions, maybe prayer, and also silence, meditation. And I'd like to focus on meditation. I'm a huge believer here and have a practice of daily meditation going back a long, long time. And it makes all the difference. It's a superpower. You bring your experience in meditation, and it informs the rest of your life. Every area. And so, but meditation can be difficult to get started on. And I have a little technique I learned in meditation training called a 1 minute meditation. And that's going to be our activity today. I hope you enjoy this. This is so simple. It's called a 1 minute meditation. And this is a great place to get started if you've never done meditation, or if you just need a break right here, right now, for 1 minute. And so the first thing we do is 20 seconds of getting our posture correct. So straighten the back and the neck, jaw parallel with the floor, soften the shoulders, let the jaw go slack, close the eyes, And the intention of this first stage is to create a foundation for your meditation. This is a receptive body, and then we can invite awareness inward. And so that's like 20 seconds. Then the next 20 seconds is breath awareness. So in our seated posture, we bring our awareness to the breath, and we keep our awareness on the breath as the air flows in and out of the body. The intention of this second stage is to create a focal point, pulling awareness away from the entanglement of the thoughts. And that's our second 22nd. And the last 20 seconds, the last third, is body awareness, as we allow our awareness to spread from the breath all over the body, observing it from the top of the head to the soles of your feet, mainly focusing on the area between your eyebrows. As you continue to breathe in and breathe out, notice your throat, your heart, your chest, your stomach, and the bottom of your spine. And the intention here is to come in touch with whatever's going on in the body. What do you feel? These feelings and sensations reflect your reaction to life. And observing them will help you allow the reaction to subside so that we can live in our experience instead of our thoughts about our experience. And that's all there is to the 1 minute meditation. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope you have a beautiful day.